Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at names of brands that are not actually brands, but of companies that were wholesale musical distributors through the years, many of them going back to the 1800s. There's 24 picks on the board, and 6 different companies are represented. Now let's start with Meisel, since Meisel contains over half the group with 13 picks. Meisel got their start in 1878 in New York City. A large musical wholesaler, distributor. They would distribute all kind of instruments, and they have a very interesting logo, this nice stylized cursive logo, unlike any others, very distinct for them. And they do go back, starting with this one here, to at least the mid to late 1950s. Same with this ice cube here. As you can tell, that's an ice cube as well. Nice long shape in that particular pick there. These are all D'Andrea made right here. And as you could see by most of the shapes aren't made today. Of course, these two Meisels and these two here in the 351 are still made today. But the rest of these shapes we just don't see. You could see a change in the logo right here in this metallic block style font that changes from the old font, which is a white print, in the cursive, and here we have a block print. Now this is at least 1970s here, but these are from the 1950s through the 1960s, possibly as early as 1970s for a couple of these. So wholesale musical distributor in the business a very long time, and with some very, very nice shapes and a nice logo here. Let's move down to Bruno. Bruno's another New York City company, even older, starting at 1830, a wholesale musical distributor, and we've seen a number of impressed Bruno picks in our section early on at the start of these videos that featured the oldest of logos, which are the impressed no ink logos. And you can go back to one of those earlier videos, you'll find them under impressed logos companies. But here's some of their more modern logos. Ice Cube right here, 1950s. And then we see a little change in font style to that block print too, just as Meisel did. I suppose wanting to update their logo a little bit. But for vintage collectors, we really appreciate that old style simply because it's representative of the period of time from which they were made. So not too many modern Brunos showing up, but here we have 3 font variations, and they're all in the 351 style. Over here to Wurlitzer, they've been in business for a very long time, at least 1853, out of Cincinnati. In 1880, they started making pianos. They became popular for their pianos and organs. But in fact, they did distribute all types of musical instruments as well. And that's the only Wurlitzer pick I have with their actual name on it. Now, you could see this logo, and I'll bring it up a little closer because it's very stylized. You could see the clef sign there. Hopefully the camera will focus in on that clef sign, but it's not focusing, so I apologize for that once again. There is a clef sign there, even though block lettering, probably looking at early 1960s due to the style. Moving on over here to Continental and Conn. Well, they're actually related. Conn, a big band instrument company supplying a lot of American high schools, junior high schools with band instruments and other bands, the colleges as well. But they're related to Continental because Continental was one of their sub-companies. And you can find actual Continental catalogs that distributed a wide range of instruments, just like the other wholesalers we talked about. Conn more specifically to the band instruments, but they were a distributor, huge distributor of band instruments, and that's why they're on our board here. So these two related, and as with so many companies through the years, they change hands, and there's a very intricate web of relationships among so many of these companies. Lion Hilly, right here. Lion Hilly been around for a while, at least 1864 thereabouts, out of Chicago. primarily known for their harps, but they were also a musical instrument dealer. Nice logo right here. We're looking at early 1960s at least, but I doubt that these two anyway, and possibly even these two, are D'Andrea made. Could be Ernie Ball, not absolutely certain about that, but one thing we do know for sure, all the Meisel and the Brunos are D'Andrea. These, the Wurlitzer, Continental, Conn, Line and Healy, most likely some other manufacturer. A lot of interesting shapes here today, and as you know well, many of these shapes aren't made, as we've discussed in past videos. So I hope you enjoyed this brief little video on distributors. We're going to be seeing some more videos on distributors, and they really have some nice picks. These are nice, of course, but we don't want to discount distributors simply because they're not guitar names. And in fact, all picks that are of the vintage variety can hold equal weight or value compared to any guitar company. Because unlike guitar companies, if you remove the name of Fender and Gibson, you're really pulling out and making a big hole in your discussion about guitars. But when it comes to guitar picks, that's not the case. You could pull all of Fender and all of Gibson and still have substantial number of gorgeous picks, celluloids, shapes, etc. So the same comparison cannot be made from guitars to guitar picks per se. So this is Joe at Play More Guitar Picks. Find pick7 at yahoo.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.